Hi, my name is Dustin Plunkett, and I'm a Special Olympic athlete and international gold messenger, as well as the Games Associate for the Special Olympics World Games that are coming to Los Angeles in 2015. Welcome back to our second installment in the series called Celebrate Abilities on Google Plus and YouTube. Today's story comes from a good friend of mine who is a fellow Special Olympic athlete and gold messenger from Illinois. Daniel Smrokowski. Daniel is the founder and CEO of Special Chronicles, a nonprofit new media company that gives respect and a voice to people with special needs. He graduated in December 2012 from Roosevelt University with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in journalism. He was a recipient of the 2012 Matthew Freeman Award for Social Justice for his continuing efforts via media and report via media, public speaking, multimedia specialist, radio show host, and award-winning Special Olympic athlete. He enjoys spreading the message to respect others like himself who were once given a label of different because of a disability. It is my honor to hand it over now to Podman Dan.
Thank you, Dustin, for having me here. And Daniel Smrokowski, and I was born 3 months premature and was diagnosed with learning disabilities and as a field language or speech disorder. I first got started in Special Olympics 10 years ago in aquatics when I started high school in 2004. Thanks to one of my special education case managers who had introduced me to Special Olympics in our IEP meeting. I didn't know if I could play basketball or now softball, but it's thanks to the encouragement of my friends, and they showed me how much fun it is to play sports and to grow in our physical fitness and friendship with people of all same abilities. I started Special Chronicles and podcasting in 2000, the end of 2008, when I became a global messenger for Special Olympics. I recently discovered that communication is my biggest challenge, but it's also my biggest passion. When I became a global messenger 6 years ago, I started to record the audio of the speeches that I was given of how Special Olympics has impacted my life, and I was putting that up online as a podcast, and listeners started to hear my story, and then as soon as I interviewed my friends who also compete in Special Olympics and a lot of our and other friends across the globe and across the country, and people were learning about the abilities of what we are able to do, and so they're able to be informed and educated about the special needs and the disabilities labels that we were diagnosed with. I started producing the podcast on an on an occasional basis when I was in school when I had time. But now I'm producing the podcast on a weekly basis. I've always had an interest in radio and to communicate via the audio medium, but often wasn't given a chance in traditional media, and maybe that's because of some of the challenges that I've had to overcome over the years. But through podcasting, been able to create my own opportunity and an opportunity for all of us with disabilities to be able to tell our stories and to communicate via this new means of broadcasting. The vision at Special Chronicles is podcasting our disability stories from an insider's perspective and giving a voice to people with special needs. And the format of this show is more of a talk and interview style show on specialchronicles.com or also on iTunes as well. And so the beginning of each of the episodes is usually an interview with social Olympics athlete or someone with special needs. Also interviews of families and friends as well. We then have a news segment on the show where we talk about the latest news in Special Olympics, so in the special needs community, and then we talk about the our world and how it affects us and the Spread the Word to in the World campaign, and then we get to some listener feedback. So, as I said, the podcasts are published on a weekly basis, and it takes about 10 to 15 hours to produce one episode, which is a lot of work, but it begins with pre-productions where I plan the show notes out, and then the actual production is where I'll sit down and record the show together with this microphone here, and we'll record it into the audio recorder that looks like this, and have all the audio clips on the computer here, and I like to record it like a radio show where we go from beginning to end, and then the post-production will go back and I'll edit it if there's any dead air and or any issues with the audio, and then I'll upload it and then put it on specialchronicles.com, where then people can listen or download it. In addition to the podcast, I've just started a special voices column, which goes along with the podcast. It's a volunteer column where I talk about how special needs issues. It's in the Bugle newspapers, which is in the western suburbs of the Chicago area, but it's also online, and I put a link to it on specialchronicles.com. But in the Special Voices column, one of the columns talking about Autism Day, and I profiled a friend of mine. Another column, I wrote a profile about a friend of mine who just competed in the USA Games, and then I wrote another column about the about all summer games here in Illinois. So the Special Voices column, it goes along uh, with a lot of guests that we've had on the podcast, and it's a monthly column. So it's nice to have that platform as well. Uh, the what I hope for the future of Special Chronicles is to continue to give a voice to all of us people with special needs, so we can tell our stories from of a perspective of us as athletes, uh, what it's like for us to compete, but then also heal from our families and heal from friends and heal their perspective as well, and to really grow this Special Chronicles as a whole network of podcasts, to be able to give us an opportunity to produce our own online show, produce our own podcast, which would then give us a chance to be able to tell our stories on a new media network, and to produce shows about topics that we're interested in, and that way people will see that the abilities of what we're able to do, and to uh, uh, see that we're the same despite whatever disability we were diagnosed with. And we have a global audience of listeners in over 86 countries, and over 16,000 views, and over 5,000 unique downloads to the podcast. I hope to reach over 20,000 listeners someday, so then that way more people can listen to our shows, and more people can hear our stories. And it's important here at Special Chronicles that people know that all of us with special needs, we bring a value to humanity and to storytelling. Why should you celebrate our abilities instead of focusing on our disabilities? It's because some of what I've learned from some of the guests that I've had on is the value that we bring to humanity. And one of the guests that I've had on just recently, he competed in our USA games, and he had an interview on Fox News after, well, he first had an interview on Special Chronicles, and he told me that his interview on Special Chronicles has helped to prepare him for his interview on Fox. So it's great that we're able to give a opportunity to get into a broadcasting with both the experience of being on Special Chronicles. Another guest that I've learned, he's a Olympics athlete from Australia. Ben, he talked about that people should learn from an empathetic point of view, and to know what it's like to be diagnosed with a disability. Another friend of mine who's been a guest on the show, he had told us about who better to advocate for people with disabilities than those with disabilities, because we know how it is to to have the labels of different uh, um, and to be differently able with the abilities that we were given. What others can learn from my um, story that I've shared here today is that despite any disability label that you were diagnosed with, is you can achieve anything that you want, and to believe in yourself. And that, for example, even though I was diagnosed with LD or learning disabilities and speech language disorder, is that I can still communicate via audio and online radio, podcasts, and that other people can too. So and through communicating, despite whatever disability label we were diagnosed with, we can inspire others through the telling and through the sharing of our stories. I want to thank you again, Dustin, for having me on here today.
Well, thank you, Daniel, for being a guest on our second installment of the series called Celebrate Abilities. Thank you all for watching the video. Please look forward to our third installment coming up soon. Thank you.
Thank you.